Hi Math Soldiers, welcome to another boot camp. In today's video, I'm going to talk about a topic that a lot of students are scared of, which is fractions. But don't worry, after this video, you're going to be able to understand fractions and you're going to see that fractions are actually very simple. Now let me go ahead and start with some definitions. A fraction is a ratio that compares two quantities. In other words, a fraction is just a representation of part of a whole. Any fraction is in the form of a over b, where a is called the numerator and b is called the denominator. You can convert any fraction into a decimal representation. So to convert a fraction to a decimal representation, we do this. So any fraction, a over b, for example, can be written as a divided by b. So this fraction over here is just dividing. So a over b is the same thing as saying a divided by b. So let's say we have 2 over 10. 2 over 10 is the same thing as saying 2 divided by 10, which is just 0.2. So this is how you convert a fraction to a decimal representation. Now let's say I have 1 over 3. Again, that's the same thing as saying 1 divided by 3, which is 0.333. 20 over 4, that's the same thing as 20 divided by 4, which is 5.0 or just 5. Okay, so again, that's how we convert fractions to a decimal representation. Now we have two types of fractions. We have improper fractions and proper fractions. Let's talk about proper fractions. Proper fractions are type of fractions where a is less than b. So the numerator is less than the denominator, such as. So proper fractions can be 2 over 3, 1 over 5, 3 over 7, let's say 2 over 10, what else? 4 over 8. So proper fractions are the type of fractions where the numerator is always less than the denominator. As you can see here, a is always less than b. So any positive proper fraction is always less than 1. Now let me go ahead and check that. So first I'm going to take this 2 over 3. So 2 over 3 is just 2 divided by 3, which is 0.67. Now let me take this 1 over 5. 1 over 5 is just 1 divided by 5, which is 0.2. So guys, any positive proper fraction is always less than 1. So as you can see, 2 over 3 is 0.67, that's less than 1. 1 over 5 is 0.2, that's still less than 1. And any other positive proper fraction is always less than 1. Okay, so that was proper fractions. We also have another type of fractions, which is improper fractions. Improper fractions are the type of fractions where a is greater than b. So improper fractions are just the opposite of proper fractions. Improper fractions are fractions where the numerator is bigger than the denominator, such as, for example, 22 over 3, that's an improper fraction. 31 over 5, 43 over 6, 3 over 1, 5 over 2. So these are improper fractions where you can see the numerator is always bigger than the denominator. Now, any improper fraction can be written also as a mixed number. Now, what are mixed numbers? Let me talk about mixed numbers a little bit. So let me give you some examples of mixed numbers. 1, 2/3, 4, 5/2, or 3, 1/8. So mixed numbers have a whole number and a fraction. That's why they're called mixed numbers. So any improper fraction can be written as a mixed number. I'm going to show you guys how to do that right now. Now this is how a mixed number looks like, where Q is called the quotient, R is the remainder, and D is the divisor. So let me take this 1 2/3. So 1 is the quotient, 2 is the remainder, and 3 is the divisor. So let me show you guys how to convert an improper fraction into a mixed number, and it's always done using long division. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the first problem. Problem 1. Let's say I have 22/3. Now 22/3 right away we know is an improper fraction because A is larger than B. So the numerator is larger than the denominator. So now how do we turn that into a mixed number? So in order to write the improper fraction into a mixed number, we have to use long division. So we have 22/3, that's 22 divided by 3. So we're going to do 22 divided by 3. Now how many times does 3 go to 22? 7 times. 3 times 7 is 21, so we have 22 minus 21. 22 minus 21 is just 1. Now you're going to have to stop right here. You don't have to continue. So this 7 over here is the quotient. The 3 is called the divisor. And the 1 over here is called the remainder. So as I said before, the mixed number should look like this, right? Quotient is the whole number, and then remainder over the divisor. So in this case, our quotient is 7. So I'm going to put here 7, and I'm going to make a fraction. Our remainder is 1, so I'm going to put 1 over here. And our divisor is 3, so I'm going to put over 3. So 22/3, if we want to write that as a mixed number, is going to be 7/1/3. So let me do another problem. Problem 2. Let's say I have 31/5. So again, I'm going to go ahead and do long division. So I have 31 divided by 5. Now how many times does 5 go to 31? 5 goes to 31 6 times. 5 times 6 is 30. So I have 31 minus 30, which is 1. So the remainder is 1. The quotient is 6. And the divisor is 5. So right away, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug it in. So the quotient is 6. The remainder is 1. The divisor is 5. Right? So that was quotient, this is the remainder, and this is the divisor. So 31/5, if we want to write that as a mixed number, it's going to be 6/1/5. Now let me go ahead and do one more problem. Problem 3. Let's say I have 17/2. So again, I'm going to do long division, 17/2. How many times does 2 go to 17? It goes 8 times. 2 times 8 is 16, so I'm going to do minus 16. 17 minus 16 is 1. So the remainder is 1, the divisor is 2, and the quotient is 8. So this is going to be 8/1/2. So 17/2, if we want to write that as a mixed number, is going to be 8/1/2. Okay, so that's how we write improper fraction as mixed numbers. Now, how do we do the opposite? How do we write mixed numbers as improper fractions? Let me show you guys. So to write a mixed number as an improper fraction, we use this formula right here. So this is how a mixed number look like. So to write that as an improper fraction, we have to use this formula. Now let's go ahead and do a problem. Problem 1. Let's say I have 7, 1 over 3. So I'm going to go ahead and do the formula. Before I go ahead, I'm going to remind you guys this is the Q, this is the R, and this is the D. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. So I have D times Q, D is the divisor which is 3, times Q the quotient which is 7, plus R which is 1, divided by the divisor which is 3. So 3 times 7 is 21, plus 1 over 3. 21 plus 1 is 22, divided by 3. So 7 1/3, if we want to write that as an improper fraction, is going to be 22 over 3. Now let me show you guys another way which is quicker, which I usually use to write a mixed number as an improper fraction. So I'm going to use the same example. I have 7 1 over 3. I usually convert it this way. So I'm going to make a fraction, and the denominator is always going to be the same. So this 3, I'm just going to go ahead and put it over here. So the divisor is always going to be the same. Now this 3 here is multiplying the 7 and it's adding the 1. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do 3 times 7 is 21, plus 1 is 22. So the answer is going to be 22 over 3. So what I did over here is I just did this fraction and I put the 3 over here, the same denominator, and then I multiplied 3 times 7, which is 21, and then I added 1 plus 1, which is 22. So the answer is going to be 22 over 3. Now let's go ahead and do another problem. Problem 2. Let's say I have 6 1/5. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and use the formula first. So again, this is D, this is Q, and this is the R, the remainder. So I have D times Q, which is 5 times 6, plus the remainder divided by the divisor. So 5 times 6 is 30, plus 1 divided by 5. The answer is going to be 31 over 5. Now let me do the different way as well without having to use the formula. We have 6, 1 over 5. So again, I'm going to make a fraction. I'm going to rewrite this 5. I'm just going to put it here. Now I have 5 times 6 plus 1. So 5 times 6 is 30, plus 1 is 31. So the answer is going to be 31 over 5. I'm going to go ahead and do another problem. Problem 3. Let's say I have 8, 1 over 2. So I'm going to go ahead and use a formula. I have D times Q, which is 2 times 8, plus the remainder divided by the divisor, which is 2. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 over 2. That's 16 plus 1 is 17. Over 2. So 8, 1 over 2 is the same thing as 17 over 2. Now let me do the easier way again without having to use the formula. 8, 1 over 2. So I'm going to make a fraction. I'm going to bring this 2 over here. So the 2 is multiplying the 8 and then adding the 1. So I have 2 times 8, which is 16, plus 1, 17. So the answer is going to be 17 over 2. Okay, so that was the end of the video. What we did today is we learned about types of fractions. We learned about proper fractions, improper fractions, and also mixed numbers. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next boot camp. Don't forget to subscribe.